All right, y'all, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin, and again, this is SmellGoodz. This is part two. I told you I'd be back with a part two, but this is part two of long-lasting summer fragrances on a budget, low cost, affordable, however you want to phrase it. All of these are definitely under that $100 range. In fact, most of them are probably under the $50 range, with one just being above 100. But if you know what you're doing, you can definitely work some other things in it. Makes it really worth your while. All right, but let's talk about this. If you missed the first video, I'll try and remember to link it up there. That way you can go back and watch that. No particular order. It's not like this is a 1 through 10. These are just 5 more, I think, that, and I'll have an honorable mention. One that, depending upon where you get it from, could also work as well. All right, but these are long-lasting fragrances that are affordable on a budget, however you want to phrase it, right? Most of these, yes, are clones cover remixes, but all right. So first one up is Lodge Island. This is its take on a Jean Paul Gaultier fragrance. Definitely works very well. You got that coconut, I think, the iris up there. Definitely works very well for summer, and it lasts. Collage does a good job of the fragrances that I've gotten from them. A lot of them do a good job of lasting. Again, we're not talking beast mode. We're not talking, let me say this, we're not talking 12, 15, 16 hours. But in the summer, listen, if we can make it through the full work day, and then you can go home, throw on something else, perfect. Because let's just be honest, depending upon where you are, especially like for me, when I come home, I probably need to freshen up just because it's so hot, right? So I'm okay with wearing 2 scents during the day during these summer months. All right. So, but one that does last, gives me a full work day, Lodge Island from Lodge. All right. Next one up is another one that was part of my journey as fragrance enthusiast, collector, all that fun stuff. It was one of the, in fact, I think this was the very first Club de Nuit that I ever had. All right, this one is Club de Nuit, and this is Milestone, and this is their take on Milestone Imperial from Creed. Salty, aquatic, yeah, does a good job, and does a good job of lasting. Does a good job of pumping off of skin. This one, especially because I was wearing this a lot last summer, and I think I've broken it out once or twice this summer so far. But yeah, I was getting compliments left and right because this is pretty close. Not a one-to-one. None of these, again, you'll hear me say this just to reiterate, none of these are one-to-ones. They may come close, 90, 95, 97, what have you, but nothing, in my opinion, is going to be a 100%. There's always going to be something that's a little different. This, however, does get in that range, and does a pretty good job of getting in that range. So if you're looking for something that is definitely for summer, but also is a good take on Milestone Imperial, if that's a fragrance that you like and enjoy, Milestone is going to be one that you might check out. All right. Next one up, this is one that kind of had me in a chokehold for the first part of the summer, spring and summer. You can tell by the dent in this that this was being worn. Gotten other things that are, of course, helping to spread the wealth around, but we're talking about Al Haramain Amber Oud, and this is Aqua Dubai, which is their take on Imagination. Decent job of it. Probably, now that I've really had something else to compare it to, probably in the 90 percentile range, but still a good one on its own, even if it was not trying to be a clone or cover remix of Imagination. Even if this was just a standalone fragrance, it's a very good fragrance. It's a fragrance that works well for this time of year, works well as far as its performance, works well as far as its projection, longevity, all those fun things. But definitely something to put your nose on if you have not already. Amber Oud, Aqua Dubai. All right. And that may be something else we might need to have a conversation of, because in the clone space, the clones that we have, the clones cover remixes, we want them. Yes, we like them because they do bring us into that space, what have you. But the question I always have, and even sometimes I've done, if I've not put nose on the OG, is it a great scent? Because even if it's a great clone of something that I wouldn't like, that doesn't matter, right? Is it a great scent? So all of these are, in my opinion, really good scents. All right. Next one up is from our friends over at Yeoman Lail. And this one is Razzie. And yes, you may see a lot of this because this is This is doing its take, its cover, its remix on one of my absolute favorite fragrances from the House of Mind Games, and one of my holy grail type of bottles, type of fragrances, which is Jadoo from Mind Games. Does a great job. The projection on this is insane. It's insane, right? Put it this way. I wore this a couple of weeks ago, and went to lunch. I work from home most of the time, and so my wife wanted Chipotle, so went up to Chipotle, stood in line, what have you. And now think about the person behind the counter who is, they're smelling the seasoning, they're smelling the chicken on the Blackstone or the grill or whatever. They're smelling all the stuff, the salsa, all the onions and everything. They're smelling all that, and I walk up, and he's like, "Hey, what are you wearing?" Told him what it was. He's like, "That smells great. Where can I get it?" All right. So the projection on this, and that was after I had worn it for a few hours. So this wasn't like I sprayed it on to go to Chipotle. This was something I'd sprayed on earlier in the day, and it did what it was supposed to do, and it did it very well. So another fragrance, and this is probably the most expensive out of the bunch that I have for this one, but I think it's still affordable, just because even if you get it the 30 mil for like, what is it, $40, $50, whatever it may be, this is definitely going to be juice that's going to be good for you. But this is, again, from Yeoman Lael, and this is Razzie, which is, again, their take on Jadoo. It may not fully be for summer, but I'm wearing it. Again, wear what you want when you want to. All right. And then the last one, and then I said I'll give you an honorable mention. The last one is from French Avenue. This is Aether Extrate. This is their take on Greenlee by Parfums de Marly. Pretty good. Definitely. This is one that you have to let macerate for a little while, because I've seen some of you in the comments talking about how the performance isn't there for you. If you're having longevity problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, and longevity's not one, not with this. All right. Shout out to those that know where that came from. All right. But this definitely rocks for me. It is a nice, fresh, crisp apple fragrance, that is kind of woody fragrance that still works for me in this time of year, and does last very well for me as far as on skin and on clothing. All right. So that was number 5, if you will. Again, not in order. This is Aether Extrate by French Avenue, which is a Fragrance World company. All right. And then one to give you a kind of one that is an honorable mention, just because this is one, it's not a clone, but 2, depending upon where you're purchasing from, this might be over $100. But if you know, in fact, if you use the video that I did as far as discounters, where to purchase and things of that nature, you're going to get this definitely under 100. So we'll just throw it in. Oud Lemon Mint is another banker for the summer. This right here, this was my cruise. My second cruise that I went on. This was one of the fragrances that it was just rocking. This is summer. This is the mint, the lemon, just the twanginess of this fragrance, of this scent, and it lasts. It does a good job of projecting. It does a good job of creating a nice sillage, all of those fun things. So I would say it's honorable mention, but we'll go ahead and throw it in. This is a bonus one that I'm going to give you. This is Oud Lemon Mint by Mancera, as another long-lasting, decent price, affordable fragrance that you might check out for yourself for this summer. All right, that's it for this one. I think I've given you all. There's a couple others that I could mention, of course, like Art of Universe is in there. What is it? Terre de Mez, Intense Vetiverse, another one. There's a few that are also in there. In fact, just because it's here, because I did another thing with Mont Blanc Explorer. I'm just giving y'all some freebies. Mont Blanc Explorer, which is one of my favorite fragrances from Mont Blanc. For me, this definitely lasts throughout the workday, projects, sillage, all that fun stuff. Works not just for summer, but works for all year round. But it was here. I grabbed it. I showed it to you. All right, that's it. Listen, do me the favor. Of course, as always, I ask, stay safe, stay sane, stay smelling good. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, request notification, share. Meet me in the comments. Check out the videos that are here, and here. And then also check out the description because there are some discount codes that can be helpful for you in your fragrance journey, but they also do help to support the channel. That's it. We'll see you next time. Have a great one. Be blessed. Peace.